been a tough year for hiring in tech. We've seen venture capital dry up, tech stocks have tanked, and as a result, we've seen a lot of tech companies have to tighten the belt, either by laying people off or by putting hiring freezes in place. And this makes things difficult for engineering leaders like us, doesn't it? We want to see our team succeed, but it becomes much more difficult to visualize those pathways to success when our team just isn't the size we think it needs to be. So what do we do in situations like this? I'm Cenizal. I just started a new job at Chronosphere last month, but before that, I worked at Elastic for 6 years as an engineering leader and engineering manager. And in that time, what I learned is, if you can't hire, you can't make your team more effective simply by scaling it out. You need to scale it up by investing in the people already on the team and helping them learn and grow. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I remember when I first became a manager, I had this kind of crazy notion that I could best serve the team by teaching everyone on the team the skills that made me a strong engineer. I kind of wanted to clone myself and have a team of mini-me's. And as you can imagine, people did not like that idea. As it turns out, nobody wants to become a copy of their manager. We just want to become better versions of ourselves. And I can remember a particular engineer that I learned this lesson from. This guy was a strong, smart, passionate engineer, and he built great software. But one day there was a problem. He was leading a project, and he kept slipping deadline after deadline, and it started to impact the people that depended on him and his work. I tried to solve this problem by coaching him on how to become a better project manager, but he pushed back on me. He said, CJ, I don't want to be a project manager. I just want to be an engineer. Can I just succeed by being a good engineer, by doing what I'm good at? That's a pretty good idea. Let's give it a shot. I started matching him up with the projects he really wanted to work on, things like building tools and libraries. And for other projects that required more project management focus, I matched those up with people who liked that kind of stuff or wanted to develop those skills. I basically started matching people up with opportunities that spoke to their strengths and interests. And it worked out well. The team loved it. We had our engagement survey scores were some of the highest in the organization. I gave out 5 promotions in 2 years, and the team shipped features that our users loved. So it's kind of a win across the board. So if you want to scale your team up by investing in the people on it, this is the fundamental idea I want to share with you. Meet people where they are. Give them opportunities to learn and grow using their strengths and following their interests, so they can learn and grow the way they want to. All right, can I see a quick show of hands? Who here writes performance assessments for their team? Let's raise your hand up. That is awesome. Thank you. That's most of the crowd. I have a confession to make. I don't write performance assessments for my team anymore. I used to. But now the team writes their own self-assessments. I know what you're thinking. It's not like, they write down, hey, CJ, I'm doing a great job. Give me a raise. I'm like, oh, that's great. Here's your raise. These self-assessments are actually as high quality as if I had written them myself. And I was able to pull this off by writing the process down. I wrote down a set of guidelines so people could assess themselves the same way I would have. And I wrote down a template so that all these self-assessments had a consistent structure. It all just came down to writing the process down. Oops, sorry, that was the back button. So I want to sort of share a crazy idea. Writing is magic. Now, bear with me. Imagine you write something down, and someone else reads what you wrote down. Now, this person could be a complete stranger. They may not know you. They could be separated from you by space. They could be on the other side of the planet, or separated from you by time. They could be reading what you wrote down years after you wrote it. But as they read the ideas that you wrote down, you are speaking through that time and space directly into their brain. Writing is magic. And we can harness the magic of writing by fostering a writing culture. Two really interesting things happen when a team is in the habit of sharing ideas through writing. The first is that ideas become clearer. People are forced to think through their ideas in order to articulate them. And when they do that, their ideas are understood more clearly by others on the team. The other really interesting thing that happens is that information becomes more durable because it's persisted in a durable medium. So you end up with this body of knowledge of RFCs and READMEs and guidelines and documentation that can be iterated upon by the team. And you end up with information that can be iterated upon, and people are learning from one another, and the team is learning together. And so the second idea I want to share with you, if you want to scale that team, if you want to scale your team up, is foster a culture of writing. When I first became a manager, the team I managed was very focused on projects. Everyone was heads down, working on a project all the time. And when they finished a project, they were blocked because they needed another project defined and ready to go for them to execute. So being a manager, I asked myself, well, what can I do in this situation? How can I best help the team? I know what I'll do. I'll make myself responsible for defining every project. So I did all that work of defining requirements and scoping out projects. And it succeeded, kind of, because now people are no longer blocked on projects. They're just blocked on me. I succeeded in making myself a bottleneck. So not exactly a scalable solution. Which brings me to judo, the martial art. According to Wikipedia, judo is based on this principle of maximum efficient use of energy. And when I realized that my approach was limiting the team, I did what I think it was sort of like a judo move on the situation. And I don't know if what I just did was a judo move. I don't think it is. But what I did at the time was kind of a judo move. And I'll explain. So what I did was I created a new role on the team. And anyone on the team could do this role. I call this role the project lead role. And you basically just did what I was doing, right? You worked with a product manager, and you defined requirements. You worked with a designer, and you scoped work out, you phased it out, you estimated and planned. I basically distributed my responsibilities among the team. And the judo bit comes into play when I realized that as soon as I stepped back from the process, as soon as I did that, people started learning more and developing more and succeeding more. I did less, and the team did better, which makes me sound like a pretty terrible manager when I say it out loud like that. But I did less, the team did better. And I can't think of a better example of maximum efficient use of energy. One of my favorite managers, Tom Callahan, gave me some advice. Tom said, train your replacement. As leaders, we train our replacements by giving away our leadership responsibilities. And so I ask all of you, what are those leadership responsibilities that you can give away to the team? And how can you give them away? You might write down some guidelines so that people on your team, so that anyone on your team can do a task that you commonly do. Or you might take some tasks, some one-off event that's coming up and say, you know, I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to create a one-off sponsorship opportunity for someone on my team. But however you do it, just think about it. Just think about how amazing and effective it would be if anyone on the team was capable of leading it. So if you're trying to figure out how to make your team more effective and you can't hire and you're stuck, these are the 3 ideas I want to leave you with. Meet people where they are by giving them opportunities to learn and grow the way they want to. Foster a writing culture so people can learn from one another on the team and learn together as a unit. And develop a team of leaders by giving away your leadership responsibilities. And that's how you can scale your team up if you can't scale it out. Thank you.